this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
It was billed as a personal statement, but there is little doubt the pressure to deliver it has been building. It is the first time the Princess of Wales has officially been seen in public since Christmas Day. Shortly after that, it was revealed she would undergo surgery. This statement on January the 17th, the only information made public, the plea for privacy made. Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, was admitted to hospital yesterday for planned abdominal surgery. The surgery was successful. Based on the current medical advice, she is unlikely to return to public duties until after Easter. The Princess of Wales appreciates the interest this statement will generate. She hopes that the public will understand her desire to maintain as much normality for her children as possible, and her wish that her personal medical information remains private. It has proved impossible for that wish to hold. The diagnosis of cancer was a huge shock, she said, and they had wanted to decide the best time to make it public as a family, with their children the priority. It's understood that as George, Charlotte and Louis have all begun their Easter holidays from school today, the couple felt now was that time. Although the Princess of Wales wasn't expected to return to public duties till Easter, speculation spiralled wildly, particularly when the Prince of Wales pulled out of attending a memorial service for his godfather, King Constantine of Greece. It is now believed to be because his wife was beginning treatment, but it fueled an online frenzy of rumours. An attempt to quell it with this Mother's Day picture simply made things worse when it was revealed it had been photoshopped. Catherine herself apologising for any confusion on social media. There was no direct reference to any of that today, but a very clear explanation about wanting to wait until she was able to reassure her children she was going to be okay. She has now begun a course of chemotherapy.
Good evening, Your Majesty. Very nice to see you. And wonderful. Yeah. Well,
of course, joining her father-in-law, the King, who is also being treated for cancer. Just as the type of cancer the King has not been revealed, Kensington Palace say there will be no further medical information given about the Princess of Wales. So for the family as a whole, as Kate said, an incredibly tough couple of months, but an extraordinary moment for the institution. Two of the most senior royals, the King and the woman who would be Queen, being treated for cancer.
Well, in Downing Street is our senior political correspondent, Paul McNamara, and outside Buckingham Palace is Kieran Jenkins, where we've just had a statement from the King. Kieran.
Yes, Krishnan, in the last few minutes we've heard from King Charles. He says he's so proud of Catherine for her courage in speaking as she did. A spokesperson for the King said that he has remained in closest contact with his beloved daughter-in-law throughout the past few weeks. Now, clearly this is a difficult time for the entire royal family, but for King Charles himself, he is of course being treated for cancer himself. He postponed public-facing duties when it was announced last month that he had a form of cancer. Clearly now, Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, she is no longer performing public-facing duties for the time being. Kensington Palace says that we understand she will return to official duties when she is cleared to do so by her medical team. She's taking this time to be with her children and to be with her husband. Now, we understand that Prince William will be back carrying out engagements when the children return to school after the Easter holidays. So this is a period now where there are very few senior royals performing public-facing duties, although it is going to be soon the Easter holidays. But it is already a slimmed-down royal family. This will put it under even greater strain. But of course, this is news that's just been breaking in the last hour. Passers-by and tourists who come here to Buckingham Palace, many of them were not even aware of it. And the reaction here has been shock and also a tremendous amount of goodwill.
We were worried about her. Well, I was. I really love Kate Middleton. So, but yeah, no, we're very sad to hear the news. But it does add a lot of, I don't know, it confirms all the speculation, what's been going on and things like that.
I'm sorry to hear that because I have cancer myself, so I can relate. And so I pray for a speedy recovery.
I just feel for her so much. I'm so glad that she, came out and to the public and told us what was going on, because we've all been very concerned about her, even over in America.
Of course, people come here from all over the world. The Princess of Wales has been news all around the world, not least in the past few weeks. But Kensington Palace clearly hope now that this means the speculation will come to an end. Kate's video has been seen around the globe, along with her message for anyone with cancer. She says, please do not lose hope.
Kieran Jenkins at Buckingham Palace. Let's get the political reaction from Paul, who was in Downing Street. Paul.
Yeah, the political reaction has been quite pointed. So almost immediately, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, released a statement saying the Princess of Wales has the love and support of the whole country as she continues to recover. She has shown tremendous bravery with her statement today. Then he says, in recent weeks, she has been subjected to intense scrutiny and has been unfairly treated by certain sections of the media around the world and on social media. When it comes to matters of health, like everyone else, she must be afforded the privacy to focus on her treatment and be with her loving family. That last point that the Prime Minister makes there, that the criticism of the speculation the royals have endured, the pleading for privacy, that's been echoed by leaders from across the political spectrum, across the UK and across the world. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, he sent his support and best wishes, then also adds, any cancer diagnosis is shocking. But I can only imagine the added stress of receiving that news amid the lurid speculation we've seen in recent weeks. Vaughan Gething, First Minister of Wales, he was only sworn in 2 days ago. Today he said he was sending his love and support on behalf of the whole of Wales. There have been messages of support from the First Ministers of Scotland and Northern Ireland. And the last few minutes we've had the White House spokesperson saying, we certainly wish her a full recovery. And then again adding, and I think it's important we respect their privacy at this time. Speculation in the US has been particularly rife. Ever since the Princess of Wales went into hospital in January, the rumour mill has been going into overdrive. The palace have consistently tried to fight back against this. We don't know what form of cancer the princess is being treating for, but that won't stop some sections of online going into overdrive. But tonight, leaders around the world sending out the message that this is an awful thing for any young family to endure. wealth and privilege are no insulator against the curveballs that life can throw at you. Stop the speculation now.
Well, joining me now is Dame Laura Lee, Chief Executive of Maggie's Cancer Care and a former cancer nurse herself. Thank you for joining us. And we've no desire to speculate beyond what the Princess has put in the public domain. But could you just explain some of the basics? I mean, what is chemotherapy?
Chemotherapy is drugs that are usually given intravenously into the vein, and they are given in order to kill any remaining cancer cells that might be there. Obviously, the Princess having the treatment, as what she's told us, is preventative. So it's in order to give her the best chance of making sure that she is a cancer survivor and that is cured of this treatment. So it's quite normal and standard to have surgery followed up by post-chemotherapy. And
just in terms of what she's put into the public domain, I mean, she says this was detected after she had this major surgery. The Palace have made it clear that when they initially said that this wasn't cancer-related, it was because there was no indication that cancer was there, and that she's been having this chemotherapy since February. I mean, that's all fairly normal, is it?
It's very normal. So you'd have your surgery. You won't know that you've got cancer until it's gone off to the pathology to get the pathology results. And I think the fact that she's only telling us now that she's got her cancer diagnosis is, you know, she's had to get her mind around her own diagnosis, her own treatment choices, and her own decisions. And so I think the process that she's gone through requires time to absorb this enormous, shocking, and as she said, you know, initially scary news, but now she's undergoing a treatment pathway that she has got to understand in her mind. Now she's had time to adjust to that, and also then how to talk to her children. Now means it's safe for her to tell us, the public, what she's going through.
And they are in this extraordinary position of being in a family that is unlike any other family in the world in terms of its public attention. We've seen precisely what that means over the last few weeks, appalling speculation and intrusion right across the media. And of course, the King himself undergoing what must be very concerning and upsetting treatment for the family himself. I mean, there is always some support for families going through cancer, but I mean, is this a family that, you know, is it possible to think what support would be required for that?
Well, we know at Maggie Centre, it's not just the person with cancer that's going through a cancer diagnosis, it's absolutely the family. And we also know that, you know, if 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer in our lives, it's not unusual for what they're experiencing as 2 family members to be going through cancer at the same time. What we do know is that they're a loving and committed and united family. So the support and love that they have for each other through this time will be enormous. But we also know that they're getting expert professional help to navigate the challenges that the treatment comes. So, you know, they're united in this, and we'll get through it.
Dame Laura Lee, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, news of the diagnosis comes after weeks of speculation about the Princess's health and whereabouts on social media, including some outlandish conspiracy theories. The author and broadcast executive Stuart Purvis is with me. And this sort of admonishment by the Prime Minister straight to the media is quite extraordinary.
It is quite extraordinary, and I think almost unprecedented at this stage for a Prime Minister to attack the press as he is on a matter of such significance. But I think what lies behind it is, first of all, in the hour or so since this statement was posted on the on the Prince and Princess of Wales's own feed, there are 250,000 likes for them. And I think that shows the outpouring of support there will be. And I also see on social media are attacks on the media and basically saying, we now know why we weren't told, we now know why Prince William didn't go to that engagement. And one poster saying, you know, we have failed the royal family, and getting a lot of likes. So there is a groundswell of support. Now the media now has to decide, particularly those who've indulged in this speculation up to now, what are they going to do now?
And are they going to say sorry? Because, I mean, it's something changed in the last couple of weeks, didn't it? I think, you know, the level of speculation, the level of conspiracy theory from otherwise, you know, fairly sane people in the media has been very unusual.
Well, a lot of it has to be at the door of British media organisations of various kinds, newspapers, television and radio. But also there has been a lot of this has been driven from the United States. That's what I find a particularly new element to this.
Yeah. As soon as Stephen Colbert did that
you've got American presenters saying certain things on there, but you've also got, just as significantly for young people, royal experts, they call themselves, on TikTok. Yeah. Now, that's a form of media not all of us are across, but they are driving a lot of this speculation. And then a lot of British newspaper websites are reporting that speculation. So it's a sort of circular argument that's going. It's not even an argument. It's a sort of hurricane of blizzard of untruths.
I mean, perhaps we're pretty wary of royal experts on this programme. You notice there isn't one on tonight. I mean, are they actual experts? I mean, how in the circle are they?
Once you had to call yourself a court correspondent, and there are only about half a dozen of them. Now everyone's a royal expert, and everyone feels they have an opinion and has a right to have an opinion about it. And frankly, news organisations have got to make judgments. Are we going to follow the herd here, or are we going to do what we think is the right thing for our audience, what our audience wants? We know from what's happening already this evening that the audience want restraint. The question is media going to take notice of that?
I mean, it's become, in what regrettably is now termed mainstream media, quite common for speculation in the newspapers to be about the royal marriage over the last few weeks. I mean, do you think lessons are being learnt tonight?
I think and I hope they will be, but unfortunately not everyone is following by any kind of rules here, Krish. But basically, there are people who are using what's called clickbait. In other words, the more outlandish claims you get, the more people will follow you on social media, the more clicks you get, the more money you make.
So it could get worse. And then people will say this isn't true. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a new incentive here to make money.
What about the way the palace have handled this, though? Well, and the continual sort of decision to say, well, thus far and no further. We'll tell you this, but no more. Yeah. And when they reveal what they reveal.
Well, yesterday, royal experts were saying that the media strategy had failed. And what they meant by that was that it hadn't stopped the speculation. But now we know the full story. I think we're entitled to say, what exactly was the palace meant to do? Was it meant to say, well, she's had an operation, but we're not quite sure yet because we haven't had the test for cancer? How would that have been reported? So I think they, frankly, in Buckingham Palace, they're entitled to say, we did what we could, we released as much as we could, now you know why we did it that way, can you please learn the lessons?
I mean, they have said that, they said it wasn't cancer-related because at that point it wasn't.
Yes, right.
Is that... I mean, was it sensible to say that, is the question?
Well, I suppose they were. Their answer to that was we were going to be asked if it was cancer, so we tried to tell everybody what we knew at the time, but we couldn't go any further than that at the time, and that's in a sense why the speculation took off. But surely we now know enough to make people make serious judgments in news organisations about what they do and don't report on this story. But I heard one person just coming on the radio saying this is a dangerous moment for the royal family. I mean, to what sense is it a dangerous moment for the royal family? It's a stressful moment for Metro, but there's a groundswell of support for the royal family at this moment.
Stuart Purvis, thank you very much.